Today I will be breaking down all the steps to make $500 a day with your drone. This is gonna be a complete guide that's gonna break down the requirements of the drone, what you're actually gonna do with the drone, and how you're gonna process the data and sell it to a potential customer. Watching this video, you most likely already have a drone. This is where you will actually have to understand what your drone is capable of, right? Now, to understand if your drone supports what we're going to do, you will need to know if it has an SDK. What does SDK stand for? It stands for Software Development Kit, but basically it just means that anyone can take DJI's stuff and make it into their own app. So you can customize, make your own DJI Fly app basically. So my favorite app for this right now with my Mini 3 Pro is DroneLink. DroneLink, you see right here, has a site where you can look at supported drones. Is my drone supported? So you can scroll through here and look which drones are supported or not. It's very interesting that DJI have chosen to make the DJI Mini 3 series work. But for example, you can't do it with the Mini 4 Pro, and you can't do it with the Air 3, you can't do it with the DJI 3 Classic or Pro, which is kind of funny. The DJI RC controllers with the inbuilt screen, they are really good if you're just taking videos, photos. If you want to do this, you can't use them, unfortunately. You will have to either get the DJI RC N1 or a RC Pro. So I have the DJI RC N1. The professional plans are only subscription based, but the hobbyist plans are one-time purchase, and as you can see, the basic one is very affordable, the premium is kind of affordable, and even the elite is affordable. I wouldn't buy the basic because it doesn't include the feature we're going to use, which is mapping, but the premium one does. But if you want to have a 3D model, this is very important, you will have to get the elite one, because what the elite plan enables you to do is tilt the gimbal while you're mapping. So you could have the gimbal at let's say 65 degrees. On the premium plan, it will only be 90 degrees completely down like this, which wouldn't be that good for 3D models because you want a little bit of tilt. What are the benefits with using a mini drone for mapping like this? Well, you don't have as much restrictions as you do with a bigger drone. For mapping, like the 12 megapixel camera on the Mini 3 Pro is well enough, so I don't have a reason to get a bigger drone, really. But now you're wondering, what am I actually going to do? Well, we're going to do a mapping mission with the drone. We're going to be capturing images, we're going to be capturing data, which we're gonna process in another software, and we're gonna get an orthophoto and a 3D model. So I have now logged into DroneLink, and here you can see all my missions I have done, that I have planned on the software. But there's one thing we don't see on here, which you have to be very cautious about, and that is drone restriction zones. Here in Sweden, we have this drönarkarta, drone map zone, no-fly zones, and as you can see, we have a bunch of no-fly zones. But in my town, I don't really have a bunch of ones. I just have this one, the hospital. So if I want to fly by the hospital, I have to call and talk with them and see if that's possible. But today I don't want to hustle and bustle with that. We're gonna do a mapping mission right here. So looking at this place here, I know that there's this is a good place to stand basically, because from here I can see all the way over here. So to start creating the mission, we just go to create and we do a map. Select a takeoff location for the new plan. I'm thinking about taking off about right here. And when I did that, this is what comes up. But basically what this is you have your start point here, and you have these boundary points. So this is where the drone is gonna fly and it's gonna capture the photos for the mapping. So when you have created your little box here where we wanna fly, we have a bunch of parameters we have to change. But if you press the map here, gonna come up here with camera. You want to change that to the camera of your choice. For me, it's gonna be the Mini 3 Pro. So you see how we have this altitude option here. If I do 100 meters, basically the altitude, how you have to think here is you want it as low as possible without crashing into something, because then you're gonna get the most detailed photos. But if you're unsure, just do over what you think it is. I'm gonna do 50 in this case. When I come onto the site, when I'm out there, I'm gonna go first up with the drone. I'm gonna go to the highest point in this area, and I'm gonna see on the drone how high that is, and then I can go onto the phone on the app and I can change that on field, on location. Front overlap and side overlap you can just leave like this, You can see the ground sample distance here, which in this case is 1.7 centimeters per pixel. And that is gonna change depending on how low you go. So let's say I go to 35 meters instead, because that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. I have here 1.25, so that's better. Pattern, I want to do grid because I want to get the best. I want to get everything from every angle. So it's gonna do a little bit more work, but the result is gonna be better. You don't have to do that though. Gimbal pitch is usually recommended. If you just want the orthophoto, just do straight down. If you want a 3D model and an orthophoto, you want to do about -65. This is the mission. It's gonna take about 23 minutes. It's gonna take 431 photos, and then we're gonna have all the data to make this orthophoto and 3D model. So we have come to the place. As you can see, I'm gonna be flying all this area here and just above those trees and all the way around there. So I will have visual line of sight the whole flight. I have indeed got my drone. We have to be quite fast because the sun is going down. I was a little bit late out for this video, but here we have the mini drone. It's gonna do this mission. It's a perfect day. It's like 0 degrees Celsius and no wind. We first of all have to check return to home is 55 meters. That's good. We have to check if there's any place where we're gonna fly. Any place where it is less than 40 meters. Check this tower over here. This is just 40 meters. So if you do 45 meters, we won't have a problem. So it's always good to check before you actually go ahead and do your mission, because otherwise you can easily just forget that there's something there and boom, a crash. Okay, so here we got our map again. Press on that, we change the altitude to 45 meters and it won't crash. And now we start the mission. So hopefully it will go up to 45 meters before it starts to capture. That's our goal. Yes, it will. We just basically have to watch the drone while it's capturing all the images. It will take about 18 minutes, it's saying. And as you can see down here, we can follow it like this as well, where it is and stuff. See, and then we changes the gimbal to the tilt that we shows in the mission app. And if it says weak signal like that, you just can start it again. It will just continue where it left off. The controller, I don't know, with this app just doesn't seem to have very good range for some reason. So you just have to resume it like that sometimes, and that's completely fine. And the great thing with DroneLink is that if you have to change battery, like I will have to do that because it's only 44% now, because there were some problems in the beginning, you can easily just change it out and continue where you left off, so you don't have to start all over again. And as we set the gimbal 65 degrees down, it's going to be capturing a bit of information from the side, which means that we will get a better 3D model in the end. Since I did a grid mission, it's also gonna fly the other way, so I will just pause it right here and return home because I have another full battery. I had another fully charged battery. Pop that in there. Bam. And as you can see, it still says 11 minutes and it remembers where we actually left off, which is really good. So now we just press the button up here and it's gonna take off and do everything on its own. Whee! So now it will continue to fly for 11 minutes and we will then get out of here. The stitching software might have a hard time stitching together if the sun goes down, because then the shadows change, right? So it might think that something is something else and it might not be able to stitch it together. So optimally you want to fly on a cloudy day, because then you won't have these big differences in the highlights and shadows. So this place was actually my first mapping as well. I didn't know too much about it then. I have just learned about mapping and stuff. So I will see if this result is any better or not. You should always bring a share with you if you're gonna do big mapping sessions. Yes, confetti, new map, mission complete. Let's go. Okay, so now we're finished. It's gonna do a return to home. I don't have to do anything. Yeah, great. I'm very happy with this one. It's like so easy to use. It actually takes good pictures as well. For mapping, it's very good. Okay, we're finished here with the mapping out on location. So we're now gonna go back, see how the photos look. I'm gonna show you how I do the post-processing of the JPEG photos. And then we will put them into the software we'll use to generate the orthophoto and as well the 3D map. So I will see you back at home. Welcome to the third part of the video. So I now have the approval from Lantmäteriet. We're gonna go into the post-processing part because we're gonna use an online program, which means that we need to have approval before we upload the images to the software. Now we have to find images, the SD card. They are gonna be right here. And we're gonna have all the images as you know we took. But there's one thing, as you can see in the shadows, it's very dark. So what we're gonna do, we're going to use Lightroom to brighten up these images and add more clarity to them so that the software will have an easier time stitching them together. We will take all our photos, we'll drag them into Lightroom. It's 333 images. So we have now imported the photos into Lightroom. As you can see, what we're gonna do is drag the shadows and the blacks up, and we're gonna get a bit more detail. Even here, where it was very dark, we've still made it somewhat usable, as you can see. It's very important that you don't have the remove location info setting on, because then you won't be able to use them in software later on. So the next step is getting a software where you can stitch these photos together. And there's gonna be a bunch of different options. For this video, I'm going to use Drone Deploy as an example. So we're going to create a new project. So when you're creating your project, you have to choose the coordinate system. And for me, that's gonna be SVRF99. So we press new upload, drag our edited files, every single one, 333 ones, into this here. And it's gonna look if it actually has location data, and it has location data. Great, this looks all fine. So we just start upload. So this will take about 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and then it's gonna start processing the data. And when it has processed the data, that's gonna take about a few hours, and then you can actually look at the result, and I'm gonna be back with you to show you it. So the map has now finished processing, and we're gonna look at all the things you can do with it. So if I go on Google Maps, you can see that, yeah, there's probably a pool there, but if we go back here, you can like see detail, like actual detail in here. So this is one use case where you could do ortho photos, let's say each and every day of a big construction project, and up here you have the compare maps. You can have different maps for each day, so you can overlay them on each other and see the progress. Viewing this 3D model, we can see that there's a lot of detail here on the roof, and in general the structure looks pretty good. But there's one thing I didn't tell you guys, and that's that if you want good detail in a specific part, as you can see, you really have to do a separate photo of it. So when we're mapping with drone, we're actually like this, right? And it's taking photos like this and going. So it wouldn't be able to capture the detail down here. But if we would have done a separate, just going around and taking some photos like this, we will get a bunch more detail here, and this would actually look good. You can download this and you can do a camera fly-through. They have an inbuilt tool for this. I don't really like it, but as you can see, you can like add a position, and you could just start animation, and it's gonna slowly but surely make a little film, you see, depending on how I keyframed it. They also have some rotation speed, you can rotate it. But what I wanna clarify with this is you can have both the orthophoto, as you can see, a more detailed Google Maps view, but you also get the 3D model, which is very cool. If you stayed this far into the video, you're probably very interested to do this yourself. So with the knowledge you gained here, just go out and research yourself, because I won't be able to tell you every single detail. It really depends on what you're gonna do, which software, which drone you have, but now you have a general understanding on how it's done and what results you can get. So that's all I had for this video. Leave a like, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.